To the Priory. This next guest is a tourmate from 1994 who later toured also in 1995. Great friend, hard worker. He did work the lighting crew, and those guys kind of slack off. They don't work as hard as staging. Staging is where the real work is. But a great man, great person, did a lot in the Air Force and did a lot after the Air Force. So without further ado, I'd like to present to you Kahlil Ashanti.
Hey, it's Rick Hayden from Thompson Blue 93 and 94. Hope everyone's staying warm. Some of you may have seen recently where the Music Box tour bus from the 90s era was put up for sale on the Facebook Marketplace. Had me thinking, if that bus could talk, one thing for certain is that it would have a lot to say about Dave's next guest. This gentleman is a prior from Thompson Blue 94 and 95 and has performed around the world in his own right, on stage, on television, and in Hollywood movies. He's a comedian, actor, writer, web developer, even has a Wikipedia page. But a role I would also add is one of my closest friends. We've ridden the roller coasters of our respective careers alongside each other for 34 years now, and every conversation is a blessing. It is my sincere honor to introduce to you Mr. Kahlil Ashanti.
Hey TIB fam, it's Libby Castle 1994. Welcome to another episode of The Priory. Before I introduce our next guest, I want to just say real quickly a big, huge thank you to Dave. Dave, thank you so much for putting this together and just kind of making it happen so that we can all kind of sit around and reminisce. I don't know about you guys, but I have enjoyed every single episode and have just enjoyed watching people walk down memory lane, dust off some cobwebs for some of us. But it's been amazing to see, and I miss so many of you that I have met and haven't seen in a while, and then those that I have never met. I miss you anyways, because we're all family, right? So let me introduce to you today's guest. And he is a tour brother of mine, so he's very near and dear to my heart. And he toured in 1994-95, and he left the military, went out, and I believe I first saw him in Las Vegas, working at Caesar's Palace, kind of a dinner theater. And I've followed his career, and just seeing him flourish and just do wonderful things. He is by far one of the hardest working priors that I know. His integrity and dedication to his craft is, you don't see it very often these days. So I admire him greatly. I miss him greatly. And I love him greatly. And every time I see whatever TV episode he's on, commercial, whatever it is, I just want to burst with pride, because I'm still to this day so very proud of my brother, Kahlil Ashanti.
On you. Oh, folks, listen. I was with this young man in 1992 at a talent contest. We both competed on the same week to be on the same cast, hopefully the 93. And I am so happy to talk to this guy again. We have a lot of memories, not tour memories, but just over time memories. Folks, we have a Kahlil Ashanti here today. Did I get your last name pronounced right? Is it Ashanti or is it
That's right.
Ashanti or is it?
I'll take it. That's good. Ashanti is great.
I wanted to make sure. I want to make sure I didn't miss like a hyphen someplace or anything like that. But Kahlil, it is so good to see you, man. I can't wait to talk to you. It's been too long. Folks, I've got to go through this with Kahlil. This is the first guest I've had of the Priory where I just talked to Kahlil about this, where I went to Wikipedia and IMDb. Now, I have followed Kahlil over his career since he left the Air Force, and needless to say, I am completely blown away. But it's completely expected from this man. I just completely expect this to happen with this guy. If you've never watched the movie Aquila and the Bee, watch it. He's in it. If you've never watched the series The Tick on Prime Video, hilarious. He is in it. And I will give you, I'm going to throw a double entendre here. Kahlil is the GOAT. And if you know, you know.
Hey, there
Okay?
you go.
Okay? And probably the one thing that sticks out with me is his one-man show, Basic Training. And I didn't know Kahlil, and this is before we start talking about Tops and Blue and all this other kind of stuff. I didn't know you did that show in 2 languages on the same day. Did I read that right?
Yeah, I performed magic in Japanese at Caesar's Palace for 3 years.
In both Japanese and English?
Yeah.
Who else does something like that, man? Who does that?
Well, Dave, it's our heritage, man. With Tops and Blue, it was always, you and I auditioned and under a certain discipline, and were immediately challenged to do more.
That's an understatement.
And
Yeah.
that's really what came over me, man, as I was stationed at Nellis. And anyway, I can go into that whenever you want, but that's kind of how
well, first I totally forgot that you spoke fluent Japanese. Totally forgot that. And I was like, well, okay, that makes more sense, but still 3 years, dude, that's just incredible. So I want to go through this for the folks. I know we have a lot of non-priors that do watch this, not a lot, but we have some non-priors that watch this channel, and I want to go through some of these accolades. Okay, and please add or subtract from this as you want, Kahlil. Okay. All right, here we go. Montreal English Critics Circle Award, Best Visiting Production. NAACP Image Award for Basic Training, Los Angeles director Nick DeGruccio. I get that name pronounced right?
Nick DeGruccio, yeah.
Montreal Fringe, Best Production. Vancouver Fringe Festival, Best Production. Melbourne Fringe, Best Male Performance. Scottman's Fringe, First Award for Excellence in Writing and Performance. Excellence in Writing and Performance. That's huge. Huge. Edinburgh Fringe, sells out shows in 2005 and 2007. New York Times Critics' Choice Pick. Wow. Am I missing any?
Yeah, but that's good. That'll work.
Come on, please. What am I missing? I need to know. What am I missing?
There's an Aldelco Award that I got while off Broadway. It's a Black Theater Award. There's another one called Broadway Drama League. I was nominated for a Broadway Drama League award. When the importance of that one, and why I'm so proud of that one, is that the audience votes.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when I was performing off Broadway, the audience would vote, and I was nominated alongside James Gandolfini, Jeffrey Rush, and Rupert Everett, and a couple others I can't remember.
Wow.
So yeah, it was. There's a couple in there that I man, it's hearing all that back. It's like, wow.
Well, I mean, cool. And you think about it, you got out of the military what year?
96, June of 96.
96. So in 20 what? 31 years, this is what you've done. I got the math. I think I got the math right. That's incredible, dude.
Thanks.
And man, you're still going. That's what I love about you. Your chart's just going like this, man.
Keep going.
It's so cool. It's so cool. What I didn't know, and again, when I went to the Wikipedia on you, I didn't know that. Well, you learned Japanese in, well, obviously Japan, because you were born in Landstuhl, Germany.
Yeah.
But when you were in Japan, was your mom or dad in the service? I didn't know anything about this. Give me that. Yeah. I'll tell you what, let's start with this. Give me your pre-military story. Let's do that.
Okay. So grew up Army brat. Dad was in the Army. Born in Landstuhl, Germany. And then went to kindergarten at Fort Hood. It was back in the days of moving every 3 years. Some of you listening may remember that in those days. You get the orders and you just go. And so kindergarten in Fort Hood in Kahlil, Texas. And then we moved to Sagami. It was actually, I think he was stationed at Camp Zama or Yokota in Japan, which is near Yokohama. And so age 6 to age 12 in my formative years were in Japan. Now, in a lot of, for those of you who might not have a military background, a lot of times on a military base, it's a piece of America. The school's on the base. It's, if you're in Germany or wherever, everything's on base. In the base that we were at, though, the school was off base. And I had, the teachers were all Japanese. And because they knew we spoke English at home, we had to speak Japanese at school. And so I learned Japanese around the same time I learned English. And so that Japan experience was great. And then he got stationed at the Rock Island Arsenal in Rock Island, Illinois. But we lived across the Mississippi River in Davenport, Iowa, Quad Cities. And so that's where I graduated high school. That's where I did MEPS. And that's where sort of the seed of basic training was planted, because as I was leaving, I realized that guy actually wasn't even my real dad. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then, during your formative years, which is a perfect word, when do you remember making somebody laugh for the first time?
The first time I remember making someone laugh was me and my little brother were standing at attention with a belt across our feet, because my stepfather was violently abusive and would force us to stand at attention overnight while he slept on the couch. He put a belt across our feet so that if we moved, the belt would make a noise and he'd wake up and beat the crap out of us. And so to keep my brother from laughing, I did impressions of the guy that I thought was my dad.
Wow.
And in that moment, in the twilight, standing as a 11, 12-year-old at night, I felt the first twinge of self-worth after being a kid who was told, you're not going to be anything, you're dumb, constantly being called the N-word, just constant, this pummeling of my spirit, realizing that, wait a minute, I just entertained somebody. And it was my sibling, my brother, who was he is 2 years younger than me. And seeing him laugh made me realize that I had kind of a gift for it. And that was the first time I thought, that was interesting.
Yeah. A little spark, something lit up in the old medulla oblongata there and said, hey,
that's right.
There might be something to this.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you know early on, when I say early on, obviously past that moment of your life, did you know early on what you wanted to do, what you thought your goals were? Or what did you want to be in your what did you want to be when you grew up? I guess is a really foundation of that question.
I really wanted to be Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
It's hard to describe to some of y'all youngins out there how big he was. I
mean, monstrous.
Yeah. We live in an age of people some people are famous for not doing anything, but he, the Eddie Murphys, the George Clooney's, the Don Cheadles, the Denzels, right? The craftsmen of their time, Michael Jackson, I grew up watching that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so, although I always had a talent for drawing, which would become obvious why later, my mom always hoped I'd be an architect or something to use my drawing. And because we come from a military family, color inside the lines, iron your uniform, keep it clean and tight.
Right.
Entertainment wasn't a natural choice, for me, but that's really what I wanted to be. Once I realized I could actually make people laugh, I looked at who at the time was the best, and there was no one better than Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Was that the comedian that you solely wrapped your arms around, or was there somebody else in the mix?
Oh man, Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
Absolute brilliant. Robin Williams. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I got my first paid gig as a comedian at the Cardinal Supper Club in Davenport, Iowa, as a 14-year-old, I'll never forget it. This was Jim Carrey in Living Color days. Yeah. Watching those guys throw down, Jamie Foxx, it was Seinfeld. It was such a wonderful period to find comedians to wrap your arms around. But Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy were the top two for me.
Yeah, yeah, that's completely understandable. Did you? I mean, do you remember the first joke, even if it was paid or unsolicited, that you just bombed? Just bombed. The first bit or anything that just you went up and just bombed.
Yeah,
Very first time.
that would be at the Cardinal Supper Club in Dyersville, Iowa. My very first paid gig. And Dave, my mom was in the audience.
Oh, well, that's good though.
And I don't know what I was thinking, man. I don't know what I was thinking, but I got up and started cursing. I started
Oh,
telling dirty jokes because I
oh, you
thought,
went blue. No
I
pun
went
intended.
blue, and I
No
was
pun
always
intended.
clean. I was clean until I got the check, and I was like, "Hey, we're going to pay you to do this corporate gig." It was like, David must have been Kiwanis or one of those groups, right? I can't remember who it was. And not only did I curse and tell a bad joke, but nobody laughed. And on the way home, you know that what's that? Parents just didn't understand. One would beat me while the other one was driving. That was a ride home. It's like, what
That
were
was
you
right
thinking?
home.
But yeah, that was the first.
And you were 14?
Yeah, 14 years old.
Wow. Wow. Who's your favorite actor?
Oh man, it's got to be for different reasons, right? So Denzel for just being human and
Such a
being
class act. Such a classy guy.
just yeah, it's hard to find someone who's more humble, who's more
Correct.
who loves God, who's just really really difficult example to follow, which is what I love about him.
Yeah.
But gosh, if I have to pick a top one, he's probably I think Meryl Streep is unbelievable. Frances McDormand, wonderful. Viola Davis. That's sort of where I'm.
Yeah.
Where I sit.
So was that particular event? Was that also your first paid event?
At
First time
Supper
you
Club?
got money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. At 14. That's incredible. Do you remember the first? I'm kind of staying around the comedy thing here, but I'm gonna dwell on the other stuff here in a little bit.
That's all right.
Did you do you remember the first time that you absolutely killed? Just
yes.
You came off that stage, hairs in the back of your neck.
So there's in Davenport, Iowa, the Funny Bone Comedy Club opened. I want to say it was 90 or 91.
Okay.
And I got to do open mic nights there. Now, I wasn't old enough. My friends weren't even old enough to see me perform.
Mm-hmm.
And most of my friends had restaurant jobs. And I'm performing at the Funny Bone. And I got to open for Max Alexander, Jamie Foxx, Richard Lewis, the touring comics at the time. And it was my first open mic night where they said, hey, you can do 5 minutes, keep it clean. When you get the light, get out so our MC can come up. And then we'll bring in, I don't know, I don't think it was Jamie. It might have been Tommy, one of the headliner for that night.
Right.
I go up, man, and I'm killing it. I'm clean. I'm dialed in. I'm sharing my pain on stage to the benefit of others.
Mm-hmm.
And they're laughing, and I didn't get the light. I'm like 11 minutes in, no light.
Did you say you were 11 minutes in?
Yes, 11 minutes in. And so I keep going. I'm a military kid, so rules used to come, naturally to me. But I'm like, okay. Yep. And then I just decide to wrap it up and introduce the headlining act. And I'm thinking I'm going to get my butt chewed by.
Right.
Oh, her name was Lisa. Lisa Young.
Okay.
Was the,
Hi, Lisa.
Yeah. And she gave me the biggest hug. And you know what, Dave? I have to send you. I have a picture. My high school yearbook is that performance. I've got on leather gloves.
No, you do not.
Yes, I have a picture of me with leather gloves, just like Eddie Murphy. But But anyway, that's that one was the first time I killed it in public, and then, well, not in public, but in a professional setting. But then I also did a talent show at my junior high in front of the entire school, where I came out and opened the talent show, and that one was almost more cool because girls saw that one, and I wasn't much of an athlete. That was my home. That was my touchdown.
So did you kill on that one too?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got a standing ovation from all of Wood Junior High School, and we used to have this thing in junior high where you could volunteer to I don't remember the name of the gig, but you could have a period of school off to go help deliver notes to teachers, and you'd walk into different classes and deliver notes. I don't know what it was called, but I would walk in, and then the teacher would just start clapping, and the class would. This was after the assembly was over, right? And then I'd be doing my.
Now you're like you're a school stud now.
Yeah, exactly. So I had the football jersey. I was on the football team. I was a scrub. I didn't play much, but when I got to get on stage, man, it was like, for some odd reason, I felt like I was home. And growing up in so many different places around the world, it's not a feeling I'd ever had before.
Oh, interesting. So by now, the bug is pretty much settled in. You're thinking to yourself, this is going forward. After that, after your stuff at the Iowa event, you're thinking, okay, this is moving forward now.
You know what? I wish I could say that, Dave, but it was very scary because the people of the Midwest, God bless them, the Iowa, Illinois, they're working people, man. They're we go out, and all my friends' dads worked at John Deere and Caterpillar, and they're they work with these. Right. And so I felt out of place trying to have a dream of anything other than what they were doing or going into the military. So I could feel that momentum, but I didn't quite know how to get there because I'm in Davenport, Iowa in the late 80s and early 90s. How do you get there from here? And, we'll get to the military part, but that's how I felt. And my mom was a little uneasy about it. Oh, Kahlil, you're such a great artist. Why do you want to be Eddie Murphy? He has such a dirty mouth and he curses all the time.
Wears red leather.
Yeah. He didn't make it easy, did
he? Yeah. So, this is a good segue because you said you were delivering messages or information to other classrooms, and then you went in the military service as a what?
Mailman. Well, hold on. Allow me to elaborate. It was called Base Information Transfer Center.
Thank you. All right, there we go.
Right.
All you had to do is add the word aerospace to that. It would have made it even better.
Exactly. But I the recruiter. Oh, what a crazy story, man. Everybody's got a recruiter story. Anybody who's a civilian who isn't listening, ask anyone in the military if they've got a recruiter story. They've got one. So.
Correct.
Mine was the recruiter story means a recruiter tells you one thing and you get something else. So I go to the recruiter's office, and because frankly, it was my only escape. I'm in the living hell of a childhood. I need to get out of here. Recruiters were crawling the halls of high schools back then. And so I went and met with Staff Sergeant Betty Jazz.
Wow.
Staff Sergeant Betty Jazz. That's right. That was her name, man. And she said, so
That's
young man,
great.
She's like, I can see that I was a sophomore at the time, 10th grade.
Huh?
She's like, I can see that you help out your mom at Sunday school. You're on the football team. Any other extracurricular activities? I said, well, I also perform at the Funny Bone.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, oh, that new club. I said, yeah, you should come see me. She's like, no, thanks. But she said,
try.
Yeah, she's like, I'm glad you said that because extracurricular activity in the Air Force actually matters. And I can see that you like to draw. So the fact that you do perform comedy and you do all these things, it actually lets us know you're a good member of the community. So what we'll do is we'll get you set up in civil engineering. You'll join the military as an architect. You'll work with civil engineering. And I was like, oh, great. She's like, well, when can you ship out? She's like, when do you graduate high school? I said, June 6th, 1992. She's like, when would you like to ship out? I said, June 7th, 1992.
Right.
She said,
I'll,
as soon
I'll
as we
still
can
be in
ship,
my gown.
yeah, exactly. Please get me out of here. So I get the ship date of June 16th. And then as I'm leaving, she goes, oh, by the way, that comedy thing, there's a group in the Air Force that does like perform. It's called Tops in Blue, actually. And Kahlil, you should look them up. But actually, you know what? You know what? Don't. You're probably not funny enough. Forget about it. Forget about it. Just focus
She
on your
didn't
study.
say that.
She did.
What?
She did. She goes, there's a group called no, and she goes, I know several people who've tried out and have never made it. They're the best of the best, top
Yes.
of the top, but you're
Yes.
probably not funny enough. So steer clear and focus on your studies, and we'll see you. And, you know, you do your physical and you know all that stuff.
Wow. That's crazy. Um, I want to circle back real quick before we went the Air Force career. I'm kind of, since you are a thespian, what's your all-time favorite movie? I usually do this at the back end of the podcast, but
Oh,
I'm trying to build a better foundation for you because of all the stuff you've done since you've left the military. Favorite
my
movie, a movie that you want to. I know we don't channel surf a lot anymore because people really don't have cable TV anymore. But if you were channel surfing and it came across, you're sitting there with your clicker and it came across, what movie do you always stop on, at least get a few lines from, just so you can say, ah, that's such a good movie?
Tombstone.
Oh, dude, Libby and me said the exact same thing. Libby and I said the exact same thing.
Yes, gotta be.
Killer.
It's gotta
Oh,
be. Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell and Sam Elliott, those guys, Bill Paxton, like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Come
Oh,
on.
I completely agree. That's a perfect choice. Perfect choice. Um, acting, writing, and acting and writing and comedy, do they give you the same levels of joy?
I
And a
feel
follow.
like, sorry, go
No, go
ahead.
ahead. No, no, you're go. Go ahead.
The purity of stand-up comedy to me gives me the most joy because it's just you and the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the acting is great when you have a good script, when you have a story and a character that has a want, a need, and drives the narrative forward. But the fact of the matter is, live on stage and the theater that I've done, there's just nothing like it. It
Yeah.
pays the worst compared to television and film and all of that. But yeah, I would have to say a live audience gives me the most joy by far. Because on film, you can do it over again. Like what you're
Yeah.
seeing on a movie, TV show, or whatever, that's the 10th or 11th time they've done that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas go see theater, go see a comic. When they
Yeah.
screw up, there it is.
Yeah.
It's right
Yeah.
there.
Either heroes or zeros, right there.
That's
Yep.
it.
Um, did you go in the Air Force? I know I the story about you going in was it, did you go in open or they automatically just put you in that career field? Did you come in as an open category and they just inserted you into that an information
No,
specialist stuff, or did
no,
you just go in with it? You just said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go with that.
yeah. Well, I knew I had to take the ASVAB, right? Remember that
Mm-hmm.
the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery,
Nice
and
job.
that was a test that they made used to make you take.
Yep.
And I failed it the first two times.
Is there really
Uh,
a fail though, or is it just a
there was
I'm not good at electronics. I'm not good. You know,
kind of, yeah. It was like, well, sorry, maybe fail isn't the right word. We're not letting you in. How
yes,
about that?
something like that.
Right.
There's a line of
First,
demarcation.
that's right. So I actually got in on a waiver,
Oh,
and because of that, they gave me it's information management specialist career field 702. Remember
yep,
those?
yep,
And believe it or not, a 702 also does mail. So that was my path in, which would become a theme throughout my story of just keeping. If I failed a second time, I'm coming back for a third one, and I think she was
yeah,
tired of me. It's like,
yeah,
lady, I am not leaving until you put me in a uniform and send me to Lackland. I will sleep in the bathroom. I don't care what it takes.
yeah, yeah. When did you see your first TIB show?
Oh man, it was no, it wasn't you. It was, well, it was. Didn't we see 92 at bait at a command level? It was I think when we were contestants at Tyndall, right?
So okay, so you never saw him at a base? You never saw him before that, before you
No,
got to
no,
World?
no. Oh, no, no, no. I didn't even know Tops in Blue existed until my recruiter told me I wasn't good enough to see him, to be him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
I had no idea. So yeah, the first time I saw them was no, no, no. It wasn't command level. It must have been worldwide at Tyndall.
Well,
Where was
probably
it?
worldwide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's right.
So you never saw so you just assumed it was something cool to go into, and you applied.
Yeah, because I mean, look, there was
Based
no
on your
internet.
recruiter.
There's no internet, right? So all you could do is ask. You could ask, and they definitely weren't in the phone book. So it was just like, oh, that sounds really good. And then I would sort of ask throughout the journey. So when I got to basic training, I didn't ask anybody. But then when I got to tech school at Keesler, I asked my tech school teacher. He said the same thing. Airman Walton, save it. Really? Like your Tops in Blue, they're like, he described Tops in Blue as the Navy SEALs of entertainment. He's like, these guys go into places no one would want to go to, and they perform.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people who start the tour don't even finish it. So focus on getting your, what was it, your 5 level? Remember that?
Yeah, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have your 5 level, Airman Walton. Just relax, focus, and stop trying to be something you're not. It was always this sort of oppressive Tops in Blue was up there, you're down here thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw the 92 cast, I was like, okay, that's it's I don't know if it's true that I'm down here, but they're way up there, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of when you first see your first, especially worldwide, but when you first see your first TIB show, and I saw mine in, I think it was 82 or 83.
Wow.
Jose Finn was on that
Oh
cast.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Chief
And
Finn.
RF Bentwaters at the movie theater of Bentwaters. Yeah, when you see your first TIB show, you're just so blown away. But I mean, that's what got me my bug. I was like, that's what I want to do right there. I want to entertain the troops. I want to play bass. That's what I want to do. So,
And you were in England. I forgot you were stationed in England. That's right.
I was in England for 2 years. My son was born in England. Daughter was born in Spain.
Wow.
Yeah. So with that note, give me your pathway to worldwide, and we'll talk about your pathway to TIB. Give me your pathway to worldwide.
Well, the thing about, as we were talking about the prestige of Tops in Blue that you and I saw, you understood it in the competition, right? So as soon as you sign up for base level, you had to have your commander sign this release that says if Airman Walton is selected, you have to let him go, right?
Yeah.
And that was scary because I thought I've signed up for talent shows before. None of them had me signing up to go places I didn't know where I was going.
Right.
And so, yeah, my path to worldwide was, so base level at Nellis. I was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base.
Okay.
Base theater. The way that I decided to try out is I arrived out of tech school in September of '92. I landed at Nellis. My sponsor picked me up from the airport. I got to the dorms. There was a guy named Ski who was a dorm guard. He was processing out. He was what they called a stuck sergeant. He had been a tech sergeant for who knows how long. And he was in charge of showing everybody the laundry. Hey, welcome, young airmen. You have no stripes. You mean nothing to the world. Here's where you're going to do laundry. And there was a talent show. There's a Tops in Blue talent show tryout flyer in the laundry room.
Oh, wow.
Right. And I was like, I heard about them. And I'll let you, you can already tell what he told me. You've heard it enough times, right?
Yes.
Shut up, get your 5 level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Make sure you get the seat down on the commode when you're done. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So I didn't listen to him. I decided, okay, I'm gonna run over to the community center and see what this is all about. So I do that. I go over to the community center and I talk to Smokey, who was the host.
You remember these names is killing me. You remember these names, dude.
You know what? It's because when I wrote basic training, I had to recall all of this. So they're always at the tip of
that's
like
fair.
Smokey is a character in the show, right? I met Smokey.
I didn't put that together until you just said that.
He's got this, hey babies, how you doing? He was the fifth temptation. He was like JB, right? You would look at this guy and swear he should have been on Blue. But anyway, Smokey gets me signed up. I do base level. I do really well at base level. And then I get to go to command at Castle Air Force Base. I get to command in Merced, California. And
I
at
was stationed there too.
Really?
I was at Castle from 84 to 87.
Yes. Well, that place is interesting where it was. I'm sure it's all condos and
Yeah, it's nothing
everything
now. It's a
now.
museum. That's all it is. It's a museum.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's an aircraft museum now.
Is it?
Yeah, but it's really quite a nice museum too. Yeah.
Okay.
The runways there are used by NASA and somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, anyways, continue.
So yeah, I got to command level, and then command level is where you see all the other the chants start to come in, and it's like, hold on, we're gonna be we were ACC.
Yep.
ACC is a place to be. ACC, right?
Group chant coming up. Group chant.
That's right. So I get to command level, and for people not in the military, these are just levels. Like there's base, and then regional or command, and then what you really want to do is get to worldwide. Worldwide was I've actually studied this. Worldwide was the inspiration for Star Search, which was the inspiration for American Idol, which was the Air Force Worldwide Talent Contest at that time. No, it was the biggest and best of the best. So I made it to worldwide. It's just competition after competition, and I get to worldwide, and again I'm doing stand up. And the problem with that, Dave, is that there weren't any stand up comedians on tour with Tops in Blue. Mm-hmm. The '92 cast had Dean, who was a super talented guy, but was far from a comedian. He was more of a library that year, for the record, right? So he was very much a host. And so many of the performance coaches were like, look, you're not, Tops in Blue doesn't take comedians. I was like, what? They didn't tell me about TA or Ed Knox or anything. They just said, Tops in Blue doesn't take comedians.
Or Frank Gorshin.
Yes.
Or Jerry Van Dyke.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it's constantly this theme of fighting negativity from external forces.
No kidding.
It's like, what is this? And they're like, I hope you can dance, because when you get to worldwide, you got to do. There's 14 categories, and you've got to do a dance audition and da da da. So that was my path to worldwide when you and I competed together. Mm-hmm. Of course, that ended with you guys, you going on the road, and then I lost to Greg Kahlil.
Greg, who summarily got fired at staging.
He didn't make it through staging. Yeah, Rick told me that. Yeah.
Didn't make it.
And I was so upset, Dave. I was so upset because it was like, I remember how much I looked up to you, Roy. So you guys had such a wonderful cast in '93. Nebu, I was so upset and dejected that I didn't get to go on the road with you guys. Yeah. That I came back to Nellis, and I was like, negativity won. You know what? Forget it, man. This isn't. I'm just gonna go. I actually applied to join the Thunderbirds.
Oh.
Yeah, because the Thunderbirds hangar was not far from my dorm room. And I delivered the mail, and a lot of the Thunderbirds guys were always supportive. They came and saw me at base level, and people on the mail run came and cheered me on at base level.
You had a bit of an in.
Yeah. And so the Thunderbirds were like, look, if you don't get selected for Tops in Blue, we'd love to have you come try out, because a lot of people don't know the Thunderbirds have a similar tryout process, right? They travel. I mean, you remember we did some shows with them every once in a while, right? Yep. So anyway, I go back. I'm feeling sad. I'm dejected. Actually, Rick he didn't make it originally as well, and so he and I are sharing pity stories on the phone. And one of the guys named James Garrett, who was on my run, he was at a repro office where I used to go to get copies made. You used to have to go to get copies made
and collate things.
That's right. Oh, this is great. What a walk down memory lane, man. So James Garrett saw me. Yep. He saw me hanging my head, and he said, listen, young brother, I saw your talent show, and, you just didn't work hard enough. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, do you have any outgoing mail? He's like,
You need stamps today?
I'm like, what? What the hell? Will that be a book of stamps, or would you like a packet of six, sir? He's like, you didn't work hard enough. And you walking around here hanging your head, feeling all entitled. Maybe you didn't deserve tops in blue. Maybe some things happen for you and not to you.
Oh.
And I'm like, that'll be 7:45. Will you need change, sir?
Yeah.
And so this unlikely guy, becomes my mentor, and he's like, you live in Las Vegas, Kahlil. You're stationed at Nellis. How many times have you gone downtown and got on stage to do what you profess to be so good at?
Oh, good question.
And my
Oh,
answer was, nothing, sir.
yeah.
Where have you been practicing? Well, sir, I was, and this guy's a staff sergeant, right? And he wasn't a performer. He was just
Right.
a black man who cared enough about me to be like, we need to talk. And so I'm like, I've been practicing at the Base Theater. I've been practicing at the bowling alley. He's like, that nobody cares if you're funny at the bowling alley. He's like, you've got the Riviera Comedy Club downtown. You're in Las Vegas. If
Yeah.
anybody should be killing it, it's you. Now, I wasn't old enough to drive at the time.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I wasn't old enough to
That's
drink.
right. That's right. You're at that go no go age.
That's right. I wasn't old enough to drink. I'm sorry. I was old enough to drive, but I didn't have a car, and I wasn't old enough to drink. So I couldn't get into a lot of the casinos. You had to be 21 back then, right?
Right.
But I was able to go down to Fremont Street, which looked a whole lot different then. And remind me, I've got a Fremont Street story that you might not remember between you and me when you were on the road.
I
But
can't wait for it.
I go down, and long story short, I put the work in. I go down, I do open mic nights on Fremont Street. I go down, I get into the what was it called? Laugh. Oh, it was at the MGM. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, I come up with this routine, and I decide I'm going to compete again. You guys come through. Your cast came through, and I helped backstage.
Yep.
At the Thomas and Mack Center, I think it might have been. I can't remember. You guys came through and just killed it. Just killed it. And I remember being so proud, thinking, okay, maybe my pity party needs to be over. Worldwide was the month after. So you guys, obviously, you were staffing Worldwide. Mm-hmm. Came down to Eglin. And then now, backstory is I only made it to Worldwide that year because the guy who actually beat me at command level, his wife went into labor.
Oh.
And I was a backup. So I got to go to Worldwide that year in 93 because of that. And then I got the Roger, and I won the Worldwide Talent Competition as a stand-up comic.
So you didn't have to apply when you came back again for the 93 talent contest. You didn't reapply again.
I went to base level. I had to do everything again.
Same scenarios again for the 93. Okay.
Yeah, and I had a different commander, a new supervisor. The commander was extremely supportive. The supervisor was not. She's like, we can't support this. We don't have enough people. I look forward to seeing you come back with nothing in your hands. That's what my supervisor at the mailroom told me.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Good Lord. And I was like, lady, you don't understand. You don't know my dad. That's not negative. Let me tell you what negative is. Yeah. And so I come back with the Roger, just like the one you have there. And that was it.
Before we talk about your Roger one, I do want to talk about that. What are your biggest memories from your first Worldwide? Who was your team lead? Let's start with that. Do you remember who your team leads were?
Yes.
Okay.
His name was, he toured in 92 and they called him J Balls. He was a keyboard player. He was really tall.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I got my big book of blue right here. I'll find it.
Okay. Yeah. Keyboard player 92.
Keep going. Keep talking. Keep going.
He was our team lead, and which was funny because he was a piano player. He did Someone Saved My Life Tonight. Should have been.
Yeah. He was my roommate. He was my roommate at the first Worldwide.
Yeah. What was his name? Oh,
John Ingram?
Yes. J Balls, because he never took a shower. Well, we can't say that on the podcast, but anyway.
It's there. There's limitations over.
He was our team lead. He always wore a scarf. I noticed that vocalists always wear scarves, but he was a keyboard player, which I thought was particularly funny. So that was my funniest memory. The other memory, a great memory, was the personal interviews.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what everyone was afraid of. You're going to sit in a room with, actually, wait a minute. Dave, wasn't it, correct me here, wasn't it only women that got interviewed, or did we do personal
Well,
interviews?
that's one of my favorite questions on this silly little podcast, Kahlil, is did you interview with Chief?
I don't think I did.
I never did either.
I think they only interviewed the women, if I remember correctly.
I can't confirm that, but it seems to be at the very least vocalist centered.
Oh, that makes sense.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. Somebody will probably get back to me on that, but I haven't talked to a band member, an instrumentalist that's had an interview with Chief. It's always been a
I hear you. And my last great memory of that worldwide was, no, sorry, was that my first or second worldwide, where Antoine was doing his specialty auditions, and I did my specialty audition, went really well. And then I had to do a vocal audition, and I walked up to Antoine and said, "Sir, Airman Walton, good to meet you. Can I give my slot to someone else who can actually sing? Because the world is a better place without me. You don't really want me to sing, sir?"
Right.
And Antoine just started laughing. He's like, "Let me get this straight. You want to give your slot to anybody?" I said, "Sir, anybody," because not everybody got slots. There were that many contestants, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sitting here taking up someone else's slot. I did great in the dance audition. I did great in the specialty audition. The instrumental audition, wouldn't even tell my kids about. But I could pretend to play an instrument, singing. So anyway, those are from my first worldwide.
Oh, well, Antoine was on tour with us in '93, so it might have been your second worldwide.
Might have been. That's right.
Yeah.
That might have been.
So the Darrells and the Percys and the Derek Wrights, the team leads back then, were any of those folks working with you back then?
No, they really only work with vocalists. I don't think the specialty acts got anything. I think I got.
That's a good point. I never thought about that. You just mentioned it. Who did the specialty acts work with? I mean, not that we don't have a ton of, folks in the system that could have worked with you guys.
No, I mean, I know Ed Knox was there, but Ed and TA were MCs. Mr. Walker, bless his heart, rest in peace. He was there, but they didn't really work with us in that way, because you got to remember, when we would rehearse our act it wasn't like I was rehearsing with the band, right? There was no. Comics kind of show up with their own thing. I just need a microphone and run through my act. And Jerry Keeler was always telling me to slow down. That's about the only guidance I got.
The manly man voice of Jerry Keeler. Manly man. You hear my manly man voice come in here? That means you're on deck.
I miss him. I really miss him.
Yeah. He was the one that talked me into doing different levels at worldwide. I'm like, Jerry, I don't know. No, you can do it, Dave. You can do it. He was right.
Yeah.
Good man. Rest his soul. God rest his soul too.
Yeah.
Do you say so? The first worldwide, you won the Roger specialty, correct? Who did you beat?
I'm sorry. The first worldwide, I got a Wilco.
Okay, first worldwide. Okay, who won the Roger?
Greg Kahlil.
It was Greg. See, I thought I had it reversed in my mind. I thought you won. Greg was second place, but they sent Greg to be on the team.
No,
okay. I thought it was completely reversed.
Yeah.
That's why I'm acting so astonished, because I was like, how the one the Roger didn't get selected, but you won the Wilco still.
I won the Wilco, and Pearl and Derek and everybody were like, you got robbed. Don't hang your head. You make sure you come back next year. You got robbed. And I was like, how can I come back in '93 and compete again? I don't even know if I'll make it this far. There's hundreds of talented soldiers competing. I'm not going to assume I'm just going to roll up in here next year and get another shot. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
But you're one of those guys that, and I put myself in that category, where if you lost that night, for me anyways, especially when I was at the command level, if I lost, I was back in lodging already writing a piece for the year later. I was already going, okay, I should have probably put this chord there. I should have done this. I'm assuming you're one of those guys. You went back and you studied your thing and said, what I could have done better? What could I have done wrong? What did I do wrong?
I wish I was that brave. I cried a lot first. I had a pity party until Sergeant Garrett pulled me out of it and hit me across the head and
God
said,
bless
"Look,
Sergeant
man,
Garrett.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah."
Wow. When you won your Roger, who took the Wilco in your 94?
His name was James Carrico. He was a magician.
Oh, you went up against a musician. I don't remember that act.
Not only did I go up against a magician, the finals at Worldwide, and this was the 40th anniversary, right?
Correct.
That was the last big Worldwide. This guy had won talent shows. Like he had been to LA, he had done some TV. Like he was an airman, but no, he was a sergeant, staff sergeant or tech sergeant. He was the real deal. And yeah, I just remember him being such a horn dog. What a weird guy, man. Like you're waiting backstage and you're nervous and you're like trying to loosen up, and the stuff he would say, I was like, wow. He's clearly not thinking about his act, and it showed. It's like,
oh, wow. Wow.
I got that trophy, man, and I wasn't letting it go.
Well, I mean, I can say with absolute assurity, when we got to staging, it took about 3 days, and this is no slam on that gentleman. It took about 3 days, and we're all going, why isn't Kahlil here?
Oh, man.
We were talking about you until we were just so tired from staging we couldn't talk anymore. But we talked about you a lot. But the interesting part to me is /funny part is when he was there trying to build his chops and get an act up for the show, for the 93 show. There was 2 things going on with him. He was a little bit overweight and he was always exercising. He had to throw off some pounds, but he come up. I don't remember who, maybe it was JB had him come on stage, and the band and I, we were sitting there in the back while he was doing his act. He was doing some bit, and Bernie was up there on the stage. And Bernie, remember, Bernie had this thing where if he was thinking real hard, he'd have his hand on his chin, and if you watch it, he would tap 2 left, 3 right, 2 left, 3 right, 2 left, 3 right.
Oh.
You'd always tell him Bernie was really thinking, right? So the guy does his bit, and then Bernie says to him, "So I know what the problem is. The problem is you're just not funny." It was, just like that. The problem is you're just not funny. And the next day he was gone.
Oh my goodness.
The next day he was gone. At least that's how I remember it. Now, again, if I get 15 members of that team, they'd have a different version of that story, but that's how I remember it. I do remember Bernie saying to him, "You're just not funny."
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Your 94 worldwides, your second worldwide, any huge memories from that one? What made that one a lot different than the first one?
Yeah, the 93 worldwide was just night and day because I was prepared. I was prepared, and I knew that if I didn't win, I did my best. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but I just went and did the work in Vegas. I'd been downtown. I dealt with crowds walking on Fremont Street, and I worked so hard for it. And so I could actually enjoy Worldwide even more because of that. And then my heart jumped out of my chest when I saw you guys up there, and that gift opened and you're up there and there's snakes, and I just felt like I wanted to give the biggest, I felt the biggest hug. Like there's Rick Hayden, there's Dave Jackson, there's Roy's, he didn't have tampons in his nose, but he told me that story and I nearly lost it when I was at Worldwide. I don't know, man. I felt the warmth, and I have to admit, I had the amazing opportunity of competing at the 40th anniversary of Tops in Blue. So I got to meet the First Lady of Tops in Blue, Doris Johnson. I got to meet Faith Sullivan when she sang to Tom. And I didn't understand how big it was till it was over. And it was, I honestly could not pick one memory from that Worldwide that, other than Tom tap dancing.
I was going to say, Tom tap dancing.
But it was incredibly special.
They had a killer all-star band that was run by Bernie.
Yeah, it looked, I mean, there's videos on YouTube for anybody that wants to look it up, but it looks like the
Yeah.
Oscars. It
Yeah.
looks exactly like the Oscars.
Yeah, it was a pretty big event. I remember being just so tired after that.
I
So
can't
tired.
imagine
I was
because you
just
guys played and you were staff for Worldwide and you
yeah,
were in the anniversary band
yeah,
and you had to play your own show for us.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how you guys did it, man.
I and because the venue was off base, we're just constantly shuttling all
That's
over the
right.
place, all these different appointments, and then we got halfway through Worldwide, and our biggest worry was, we still have to remember how to play the show because you have that
You
8 days where you're like slacking, but you're really not slacking, and and
well,
I remember it was J.C. Klein saying, we probably should go back and rehearse the show because we haven't played in a while, and we should probably get back into it. So we had to go find a place to set up and rehearse in between all the other stuff we had to do. It was a bit
and to be
scary too.
and to correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but you guys with the Worldwide happening in November, you had half your tour still left,
Yeah, yeah. We left we,
right?
we left straight from there to Niagara Falls for the
Yeah,
light show, the
that's
Festival
right.
of Lights, or whatever it's called. Yeah, you
That's
could get on
crazy.
C-130 the next day.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, you toured back to back.
yeah.
For the folks that do that, I have so much appreciation, but my head always says, why would you do this back to back?
I think it was, well, there were a couple of things. um, I realized, and I can say this with confidence, I realized how big of a deal it was when I was in it. I knew when I toured in '94, and I knew just like the joy you guys brought to the Eastern Bloc,
Mhm.
as you made that groundbreaking, trek into unknown territory. I knew that I was a part of something bigger than myself. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
Um,
with you. No,
I
I'm
just,
with you.
I just, from where I had come from, I
Hmm.
just, I was just so grateful. And when I finished the tour, I come back to my base. I'm stationed in Vegas, right? So there's always something going on. And I was ready to take over the world. I think I went to see my mom in Davenport, and I showed her my ring and all this wonderful stuff. And I got a call from Antoine. And the other thing you should remember is that while I was on tour with Topsin Blue, I was so convinced that I was a part of something special that was positioning me for success that every base we went to, I'd go in the phone book and I would call the talent agent as many as I could between sound check and the show. When they're like, "Hey, you can go back to the hotel, you can stay here." I go
Yeah.
in the lobby, I would look up talent agents, and I would invite as many of them to the show as possible, so that when I got off tour,
Really?
yeah.
That's
Now
pretty
the
freaking smart.
Now, the stupidity of it, though, to be clear, was I'm calling I'm we're in Rome, New York at Griffiths, and I'm calling
Yeah,
talent agents there,
yeah,
and then we leave, and then I'm calling I'm calling talent agents.
that's
It's
true.
like,
Yeah,
right, but you can appreciate the tenacity.
yeah.
So anyway, I'm constantly thinking about the business. Me and Preston Hammond, we're always just like we can make the most of this and help Tops and Blue grow from the outside rather
Hmm.
than the inside. People need to know about this. So as I finished the tour, I had some dates at the Comedy Store with Mitzi Shore
Oh, okay.
um, in LA, and I had just opened for Sinbad at the Comedy Store right after the tour ended, before I went to go see my mom, and they'd offered me a weekend to come back and
Wow.
perform for Mitzi, which was Pauly Shore's mom. Big deal back then. It was, and then I was looking forward to doing that, and then Antoine called, and he said, "We need you." And what was I going to say? Right?
Yeah.
I didn't. I appreciate what you're saying, Dave, which is like two tours back to back. Like one tour is the most grueling thing you could ever think of, and to do it, but it didn't even cross my mind, man.
You just like boom, let's go.
Let's
Boom.
go. I'm
Wow.
right.
Wow.
I'm
You weren't
19.
emotionally exhausted. You were more pumped than exhausted.
I was more pumped than exhausted, and I didn't
Interesting.
even. think twice about it. They did give me about a week or two to get my affairs in order, because back then you had to do power of attorney for your bills and all this, and I still didn't have a car, so that was fine. But I rolled down there, man. I said, hey, let me know when you need me on a plane, and I came back to Nellis, and I must have finished the tour in March of '94. And then staging had started when I got there. I think I must have arrived in mid-June of '90.
Wow.
So I finished in March of '95. Then mid-June of '90, they started staging May 1st of '95, and I arrived in mid-June as they were getting ready for July 4th.
Wow. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for the folks that do it. You, Rick Hayden, guy. I mean, there's a ton of the folks that have done. Don't even get me going on how many tours Antoine's done. I don't think anybody's got the full count. Nobody's got the full count yet of Antoine's tours. 95, and I've got it written right here in my notes. I've got written down here. The 94 tour was a solid team. The 94 team was, in my view, an amazing team. You guys, and
Thank you.
And I was at Kobar Towers when you guys was coming to Saudi Arabia, but the show got canceled. I actually extended in Kobar in Saudi to help with the base because you guys were coming over, but it got canceled. So I was staying there for no reason for another 2 weeks, but it's kind of bummed about that. But you guys had a really, really, really solid team in '94. The '95 team, also a solid team, but every team is different.
Yeah.
What would you say the biggest difference between the two? And you don't have to go into specifics about people or anything like that. But what do you say was the biggest difference between the two tours for you?
My opinion is the worldwide. The '94 tour was the last tour that came out of that format, and we had a chemistry and a spirit of competition that just wasn't. It was difficult to replicate. A lot of us, as you know, that Daryl Lamar, Lisa Davis had competed for years and never got a shot.
Yeah.
The '94 tour just really, we lost a ton of people at staging, right? And then in the '95 competition, it was regionals. We were the first tour to do the regional format. And no disrespect to anyone's talent on any future tours, but it changed the dynamic of how tours got picked. When you have everyone in one place, there's things you can see. And I think what we did to pick the '95 cast I know we did a regional in DC, a regional in California. I could be getting that wrong, but it was disconnected, man. And I think that affected the chemistry of the cast, so to speak. And that's, as I talked to Antoine about it, it's one of the reasons they brought me in is because the guy that they brought in couldn't really handle it.
Interesting. Yeah, that when they did that version of the worldwides, I think that was a version. I didn't get caught up in that. I don't know. I worked a lot of worldwides, but I do not remember doing anything during that time of life where they had the separate worldwides. I don't recall going to California. I don't recall the DC thing. I just remember thinking to myself, oh, they're going to have to conquer and divide the continental United States and try to find talent.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Because then
I don't think I was involved with it, but yeah, I definitely see your point. What do you have on either tour, '94, '95? Do you have any just real solid memories of any of the special shows? Like you guys in '94 went to Cuba, right?
Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah. Any special thoughts about that? The special shows?
My goodness. Yes. So there's a name for it. I can't remember it. But at the time, there were Cuban and Haitian refugees staying. Guantanamo Bay was a refugee camp. And Cubans and Haitians were separated by a line of porta potties.
Oh, okay.
And Clinton had been sending refugees there because these folks were trying to literally float from their country to the U.S. to get a taste of freedom in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
And so that experience for us, again, was eye-opening because even then, there's what you saw on the news was happening in this place, and then you're there and you soak it in, and it's never the same.
Yeah.
It's never the same, right? As I'm sure you guys did the Eastern Bloc is the same, right? You just can't describe it, right? And so the experience that shook us the most, well, there were two, but the one that shook us the most was probably We did 3 shows in one day in Guantanamo Bay. And of course, it was a last minute kind of a thing. They couldn't tell us where we were going. We put the team on 2 C-130s. We couldn't bring the entire show. We did one of those shows, right, where you don't have the whole set. We're bringing the rear truss only, right? Yeah. Remember those?
Yep.
And so as we performed this show, there were just refugees everywhere living in squalor. And at the end of the show, this guy gives us what can only be described as a raft made of milk bottles that he used to try to float to the US, and he wanted to gift it to us. These refugees they had carved things that they wanted to give to us as gifts, and that float was in the production center until Tops in Blue stopped as a memory, to say this is what's possible. Whenever you think, yeah,
that's right. I remember that float now. I remember that at the production center.
It's in your 50th anniversary book. There's a whole page with that float on there.
Yeah.
So that experience shook me to my core because our lodging was a cruise ship. And
what a dichotomy.
Yeah. I remember just like eyes wide open, right? Like, I went to high school in Iowa. What am I doing performing in Cuba?
You're in Cuba. Yeah.
Right? Like, what is going on? And then the second thing was that by the time we'd finished the show, they'd stolen half our shit.
No way. I didn't hear this.
The soundboard, Leo and Aaron Sizemore, he's like, we can't, because you remember we used to have a CD player we plug into the board to play the national anthem. Yeah. Gone. The PFL headphones, gone. If they could have, they weren't going to take the board because you and I remember how heavy those boards were. But if they could have, but it was. And then I remember Rick telling me about a time they took them on a tour. The guy took him on a Humvee tour around the base after we did the show, and he said there was the actual camp was surrounded by a minefield.
Wow.
And there were body parts out there of people who tried to escape the camp in different ways. And then we all went snorkeling, and at the bottom of the bay were all these rafts of people who hadn't made it.
Really? You can see them down there. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy crap. Wow. So the 90s, I didn't get to go to Cuba, but like you said, the whole Eastern European thing. Again, unless you've been in the Mideast, unless you've been, to Saudi or Bahrain and Qatar or Cuba or anything in Eastern Europe, somewhere between 91, 89 and like 97.
Yep.
It was like going back in time. It was literally just like back in the 50s, and you saw things that were like, I mean, I don't remember if it was one of the Anias, Albania, Romania, where they just had street lights for the first time. The red lights, but people were still driving on sidewalks to go around cars and stuff.
Really?
Just the stuff like that. Rooms that had stuff in them because we were distinguished visitors. So they put a TV in the room and a lamp, but there was no outlets. There was no power. So the room was set up with props, to make us feel better, to make us, it was just stuff like that. But
your story of living off of, you remember you told me that story about you guys living off of Butterfinger? What was the candy bars you guys?
Yeah, we didn't know what we were getting into for food when we started crossing these borders in Eastern Europe. So Tom, I'm guessing it was Chief, came up with the idea, let's pack food, pack sodas, and put them in the type 3, 5, 9s, whatever cases underneath the bus.
Yeah.
And so Roy Mills ran the Tops and Blue Country store on the back of the bus.
Tops and Blue Country store. I love it.
And he made the mistake one day of selling Tom's Pepsis.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds like Roy. He would do that.
Made a mistake by shelling out Tom's Pepsis. So, but yeah, Eastern Europe. I can relate. I completely understand the Cuba analogy. Yeah, crazy. What were your ancillary duties on tour? Either of them, both of them.
I'm sorry. So, what's the question?
What was your ancillary duties on tour? Were you load master? What'd you do?
Yeah,
I know you
yeah.
were. But
I was a lighting crew chief on the front truss, loadmaster. I helped with Power Pro quite a bit. Um, but yeah, really, I'm just thinking, yeah, lighting crew chief, loadmaster, and I had a pallet. I was a pallet master when we got
Master,
overseas. Yeah,
the old PM.
yeah.
Wow. Um, Going back a little bit, back to your tours. At any point in time, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna guess the answer was no, knowing that I know you. At any point in time, did you just want to call and say, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I want to go home. But you just
Yeah,
thought about, you sat in a lodging room someplace and thought, I don't know.
there was a one time in '95 where a cast member had filed an IG complaint against Thompson Blue.
Was that at Dover? So I remember I had to shuttle people back and forth at Dover
I think
to
you're. I think it might have been. I think it might have
various
been.
interviews. Yeah.
I won't say the guy's name because he and I are good friends now, and he's a genuinely good dude. And I actually don't disagree with everything that he did. At the time, I disagreed but I remember Tom telling us, and we had just got back from Norway. We went from Norway to Dover, I think. And
Norway. Did
yeah,
you guys do a show in Norway?
95, we did a Stavanger, Norway.
Wow.
Yeah. And at that time, I thought, I got to pack it in. Like, this is nuts because this guy's trying to take the tour down while we're on it. And he was a prior,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he had gone to the IG about, it was something about the work ethic, right? It was just we were keeping crazy hours, which in my opinion, Thompson Blue goes to great lengths to remind you that this isn't for everybody. And I think to be fair, there were a few personal issues with the tour director at the time. But that was an interesting dichotomy because at the same time I felt we should pack it in. I was like, well, what about future casts? We need to stand up. We gotta make this thing work. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember having to take people back and forth to some place for interviews, and yeah, and I couldn't talk. I remember I was told to be quiet. I don't remember who
Yeah.
told me. Maybe it was Bernie or somebody. I don't remember who told me. Dave, you can't talk about it. Just get them back and forth. Okay.
That's right. It was hush
All
hush,
right.
man.
Yeah. What was in your mind your worst on stage screw up? Either tour.
Oh man. Oh man. I got one for you, brother. Okay.
Okay.
95, Hickam Air Force Base. Um, I it was this was a rain show, right? So
Oh.
we went to set up, and it had rained right as we were setting up. It was one of those where you roll into the base, you get to lodging, you immediately go and you set up because you had to set up because they had to put the wood down on the grass so we didn't ruin the grass. They needed to get all that out of the way because the next day for the show they needed the VIP seating to be placed, and there's another company doing that. So it was one of those situations. We get there, we start setting up, we've got the front truss there, and it's raining so much we just made a slip and slide. Like there's a picture of Jim Wintermeyer just sliding with the plastic from the front truss. But to get to your question, which was the mistake I made, the mistake was the opening of the 95 show was sing, sing, sing. We came out in white tuxes, right?
Yeah.
And I was the guy who did 2 half turns, a full turn, and I would jump up in middle air, touch my toes, and come down on the stage, do a spin, do a James Brown dip, and then pop, pop, song ends. Now, our tour director, Tommy Mason, said, Kahlil, I need you to take it easy because it's slippery out there. And we've got dignitaries from the headquarters, PACAF. It's one of those, right? It's at Thompson Blue shows, there's always someone incredibly important.
And they're always
as an airman, you don't know what that means. It's like every general looks alike. It's like, we do a great show for everybody, sir. I'm on it. Kahlil, I need you to. But the thing is, Dave, I'd met a really cute girl the night before who said she was coming to the show.
Uh-oh.
So I had to put, buddy. Right? I had to put some stank on it, right?
Yeah, put some stank
on
it.
I got you, Tommy. I got you. Dude, I come out there, I do my thing, I go to land on the stage, and my feet go from under me, and I land on the top of my head.
What?
It makes the biggest cracking sound.
What?
And Greg Jordan, I'll never forget it, starts laughing his butt off. Of course, I pop back up, and you can hear the entire band go, ooh, right? Dude, and we're in white tuxes, Dave. Like, what? Can you stand out more than a white tux against a black background, right?
Yeah.
And
What stage?
I managed to finish it. I'm dizzy. I had to have had a concussion or two.
Oh, yeah.
Come to find out, the girl didn't even show up for the show.
All that energy and pain just wasted.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really well, I guess you quantify that as a screw up. It was more of an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident.
Was wet.
Yeah.
You were high. You were pumped. There was a possibility of a girl in the audience. I get it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. That's right.
What's your least favorite part of touring? And you can't use. I'm gonna make one a disqualifier. You can't use lack of sleep.
To be honest, Dave, at the age we toured, man, sleep wasn't a thing. I don't remember, for me anyway.
I completely disagree with that statement, young man.
Really? Yeah, man. I remember, let me rephrase it. I remember being tired, but it's a different tired, right? It's not like I never felt like I couldn't go on. But the thing I disliked about touring the most was the way it took you out of the real business. You couldn't go do gigs. You couldn't, my Comedy Store thing. You couldn't. It's like doing a cruise ship gig. You're cut off from the real world.
Oh, that's a good analogy. That's a good analogy.
Right? Yeah. For good reasons and for understandable reasons, but because to be, I didn't have kids. I wasn't married. My first tour I was 19. Second tour I was 20, something like that. So I can't pretend I had a whole lot of hangups. I was just ready to get out there and do it and see the world.
Right. On the 95 tour, did you ever think about, or was the 95 tour you thought about going home? Or was that the 94 tour?
The 95 tour was the IG thing. Yeah. The 94 tour.
The 94 tour.
I remember I didn't think about going home, but there were a few people that got sent home that I really couldn't believe were leaving.
Yeah.
Dave Wellens, Robert Hughes, people that got sent home that I just really had gotten close to and were just buddies. Just really, you go through staging with these people. Anytime you're on tour, these people know more about you than your family does.
Well, when you live, sleep, eat crap with the same 30 people for almost a year, you develop those relationships,
Yeah, I hear you.
What's your favorite part of touring?
Just one thing?
No, you can say a couple things. I'm not going to limit you.
Favorite part of touring? Probably just the sights, man. Just seeing. Sometimes you see the inside of a hotel and inside of a theater, but I remember the Azores. I remember Diyarbakir, Turkey. I remember Greenland. I turned 21 in Greenland. And realizing that people are the same everywhere.
Yeah.
That soaking that in. And then I have to say, and as I'm thinking about this, the problem solving. Your definition of what is important and what's impossible will change forever once you've done the Tops and Blue tour.
That's probably the best answer I've ever heard right there. That's exactly right. It changes your whole perspective about problem solving and having to get it done in a timely manner, in a safe manner, which is a perfect segue to what did you take away? And I'm going to encompass this with your entire military career. Now I think about it, so 4 years, right? Half of that you were touring.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a fair statement? Yeah.
That's right.
What did Tops and Blue and behind that the Air Force help you with your career moving forward? What's the biggest thing you think you got from that program and from the Air Force that you took forward in your professional career?
want to be careful about this because there for those of us who went on to the professional entertainment world, it's a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
Thompson Blue did not provide a ton of room for improvisation and growth.
Mm-hmm.
And as an actor, when you go to an audition, they want to see you do something different. With Thompson Blue, and I'm speaking only for specialty, we had to say what was on the page. Period. End of story. You don't change a line, you don't change a phrase. Every night,
Yep.
That's what we need to hear. And I understand it. I'm not begrudging it. I understand it.
Yep.
But it was very difficult for me to learn otherwise after the tour, going into the real world where you go into a casting situation and they're seeing a type like, hey, we need a young black guy who's this height and has this kind of personality. And they give you the words, and in acting, the words, they want you to interpret and give them something interesting from your life experience. That's the opposite of Thompson Blue.
Yeah.
When Tom gave me a script, right? When Tom gave me a script for Worldwide, you better not miss a freaking period.
Yeah.
Like, this is it, because
if there's a comma, you pause.
That's right. That's right. So that was and I don't want to call it a downside, but it was a learning moment for me. Because I thought I did it on Thompson Blue. Dave, I was so damn naive, man. So we used to have to do tapes to give to agents to get signed to an agency. Do you know I gave them the entire 95 show? Just watch that.
Just watch. Really?
Just watch. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All you got to do is watch the show and you'll see. Denzel, baby.
That's take an hour and a half of your time and watch
that. That's right. I had no idea.
Wow.
But the thing that it did do, that to this day, I hate to swear, but I do swear by it, is you stand out because of your work ethic. I just shot a commercial for FanDuel, and I remember going to the audition, people didn't know their lines. And on a commercial, you don't have that many lines. I've done about 3 or 4 commercials in the last couple of months. I've done film. When I was on the Tick, I show up, I knew my lines, I knew my marks. That level of professionalism really helped me get other jobs.
Yeah.
Right. And that
you don't want to waste your time, right? Isn't that one of the mantras of the folks in your career? You don't want to waste the crew's time.
Because it's money, right? Yeah. It's money. Yep. They've got the thing that Thompson Blue taught, and you'll appreciate this, is there's things happening that are bigger than you around you. So play your part. Right. I encountered actors on set who were trying to give the director notes. They were trying to tell the lighting guy. I'm like, they didn't hire you for all that.
Yeah. Stay in your lane.
So Thompson Blue really gave me that foundation of responsibility, work ethic, integrity, and dependability that is fairly uncommon in the real acting world.
That's pretty powerful, Kahlil. That's pretty powerful. And very true. You're getting, and that kind of goes back to why people like to hire veterans too, right?
Yes. They see it. They see it.
And it's cataloged. You can pull your stuff out of your files and this is what I did. This is what I want. This is what I've done. This is who I've led. This is how many people I've led. Yeah,
you know what else is cataloged? When you said that, what came to my mind was that zone. You can get back to that when you need to. You know what it's like to lock in. And this is going to be a terrible day. It's raining. We're shooting a movie. Let's go. There's no complaining. I don't need a trailer. Hey, it's raining. I got to do these lines. They need to get the shot before the sun goes down. Kahlil, action.
Yeah.
That lock-in, man, that's, we've all been there, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would completely agree with all of that. All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions that are I've been asking all the priors just to show the human side, the more human side of us.
Sure.
What's your favorite comfort food, Kahlil?
In-N-Out burger, man. I gotta have that burger.
Specifically In-N-Out burger. Wow.
Yes, sir. Wow. Double. Come on.
Double. Yeah. All right. What's your do you have a song that you go to if you're feeling down?
Never Gonna Break My Faith from the Bobby soundtrack.
All right. Oh, very nice. Okay. Um, I know you're an incredibly busy guy, but what kind of hobbies do you have, Khalil? What gives you joy outside of work?
Drawing.
Drawing.
I like to draw. I love to cook Mexican food.
Now,
Um,
specifically Mexican food or just food in general?
well, food in general, but I'm better at Mexican food because when I was a actor living in LA getting no gigs, my landlord was from Guadalajara and he used to teach me how to make all this stuff. So I think cooking has to be up there with. I don't get to draw that often, but I'd say cooking probably more than anything else.
So is drawing just something that you like dive into when you have the time to do it, or do you have a set? Do you have a set like on Sunday? I'm going to sit down for an hour and doodle. Do you have a? It just comes
No,
around.
when it just comes randomly, yeah. Drawing, the thing that the commonalities for me is I don't have to speak to anyone, and I can just be in my zone and really just kind of be absorbed with what I'm doing, and nothing else
Mhm.
matters.
Yeah, understandable. I mean, that's why musicians just tinker and play, to get out of their to get into back in their comfort zone. So I get that. Um, if you could snap your fingers right now, knowing all you've done, your entire catalog of all your stuff, but if you could snap your fingers right now, what would be your dream gig? If you could just make it happen right now.
That's a great question.
And a follow-up to that would be, while you're thinking about that, when you were 15, 13, 14, 15, again, your formative years, what would have been your dream gig back then compared to what you think your dream gig would be now?
When I was 13, 14, 15, my dream gig would have been to be in movies like Eddie Murphy, to be an actor at the top of the world.
Yep.
Now that I've been around those people, my dream gig is just being a great dad to my kids and being able to just help them with whatever they need and not having to worry about anything.
Yeah. That's a beautiful answer. That's a beautiful answer, my friend. Um, wow. I just gave me goosebumps, as a matter of fact. And I can relate. I can relate as a grandfather. I can completely relate.
Yeah.
Um, I've asked this to all the priors I've had on here. We're coming to the end of this little thing here we're doing here with Khalil. What prior or priors influenced you or helped shape you the most?
Don't make me cry again. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Um, I'd have to say Bernie Rome.
Okay.
I have to say um, Edward Jones, Pearl Glasgow,
Mm-hmm.
Barry Best.
Okay.
Gosh, the list every one's for different reasons.
Well, yeah. Which would be my next question. I would love to hear. I mean, Slim's obvious. Bernie's obvious. I had a love and hate. I had a love-hate relationship with Bernie, well
Yeah,
documented.
yeah.
Um, what did Bernie instill into you?
Bernie instilled into me when to listen and when to speak, and that sometimes saying nothing is more powerful than saying anything.
Dude, you are not going to believe this because what you just said reminded me of what Bernie said to me once. We were rehearsing in Germany. He came to Germany. We're getting ready to go over to Eastern Europe. And he said to me, sometimes, Dave, it's about playing no notes and when to have the open space.
Wow.
That's bizarre.
Wow.
He said, sometimes there needs to be an open space in the music where you just sit back for a
Hmm.
measure or two, and don't play to make the
Hmm.
dynamics of that song change. And he was specifically talking about bass players.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. So I can totally relate to that, what you just said about Bernie. Now, Slim, Ed, he could write a book right now. Ed, listen to me. He could write a book of colloquialisms
Yes,
from Ed Jones that could change the world.
absolutely. Absolutely. That guy comes up with, I don't know how he does it.
He would come up with stuff out of the, no pun intended, out of the blue
Yeah.
for a scenario that you looked at him and said, "Holy shit, Batman, you are absolutely right."
Uh,
Yeah, I totally understand the slim part. Yep, yep. And Barry, it goes without saying. Yeah,
yeah.
yep. Wow. Um, Listen, you're a writer, you're an actor, probably more importantly, or at least as importantly, you're a veteran. Um, I can't thank you enough for your friendship. I know we haven't been in contact a lot over the years. I feel very bad about that. Um,
Well, it goes two ways, man. It's
well,
life
I
keeps
mean,
happening. But
life happens. We get it. We get it.
yeah.
Uh, what have you got going on right now that you want to tell the folks you got that, something's in the pipeline? Don't say anything proprietary, obviously, but what do you got going on right now that you want to share with the folks?
Well, I also have been writing code. The way I feed my family when I'm not gigging is I'm a coder. I'm a full stack software developer. And
Breaking news. Breaking news.
yeah,
Really? So you got
yeah.
so you got a would this be qualified as a daytime job?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. I wrote my first website in '98 for a Neil Diamond impersonator, and because as I'm performing at Caesars and doing these gigs that paid well, I always knew I needed to, I needed to prepare myself for what I knew was coming in this business, which is slow times. And you're
Yeah.
defined as an actor by what you do when the phone isn't ringing or when the emails
Right,
aren't
right, right.
coming. And so I just have always loved computers, and I started a company called Mantis XR. You'll find it online if you Google me, and we do 3D commerce experiences for some of the biggest sports brands in the world. And I started the company, and we just signed a deal with a New Balance, and we're working with Premier League, and
Wow.
so yeah, I that's probably something people might not know about me is that I'm very much into creating with code as
Mhm.
well, and then I have an opportunity to I've constantly since you and I first met been trying to get the story of Tops in Blue made into a television series.
Mhm.
And we're getting closer. We've got some really interesting opportunities with that. I can't really
Good.
talk about, but
Nope.
it's
Yeah.
they call it we'll say band of brothers with instruments is sort of the pitch. So it's
I
we'll
like where you're
hopefully
going with it.
yeah.
I like where you're going with that. Awesome. Ah, Khalil, so good to talk to you. Do you
So
have anything you want to ask me or anything you want to get
yeah,
into before we close out? Go ahead, man. Hit me.
I got to hit you with these two memories from your
Yeah.
tours that I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
So what was the anniversary tour? Was it 97 when you were
97 was the
on?
50th anniversary tour
Yeah.
of
You
the Air
guys,
Force.
I was living in Vegas, had just
Mhm.
started performing at Caesars. You
Mhm.
guys, you and your team came to Fremont Street,
Correct.
and I was helping with your unload, your load in,
Yep.
and you I showed up, and I remember giving you a hug. What's up, buddy? What's going on? And you just looked so tired, man. And I was like, what do you need, Dave? What do you need, buddy? And you were like, volunteers haven't showed up. And just as you said that, the volunteers showed up,
Oh,
and they
wow.
were all homeless people from Fremont Street.
Yeah. 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 Well, it's funny too because let me get out of that memory real quick. Before I got yelled at the hardest by Tom that night because we were late to get, if I remember right, we were late getting to Fremont Street and we had to like just run off the bus and start setting up. And
Yeah.
so um, when they undid the bus, we had to get a whole bunch of crap off underneath the bus, let alone the truck. And all our suitcases and stuff, for some reason, got unloaded off the. I don't remember why we did this. We're literally on the street by the
Yes.
bus. The rest of the team is just scrambling to get to the truck to get stuff up because we were like way late. And I'm like, we're in Vegas. I've got suitcases and duffel bags and all kinds of personal stuff on the street behind stage, behind the where the stage is at. And I'm like, I can't leave this stuff here. And the team was just gone. They're just already digging into the truck. And I'm like, so I said, okay, I'm gonna start putting this stuff back. I just started, I want to get the stuff in there, make everything safe and secure the bus. And I remember Tom coming back, and I'm sure this is not how he remembers it, but I remember Tom coming back going, what the hell are you doing back there? Get up there and help these people. I'm like, Chief,
Yeah.
there's personal
All your
stuff
stuff.
on the ground in the middle of Vegas.
Yeah.
Get up there. We've got a hum going on. They're trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm like, okay.
Oh,
All right. So yeah, I do remember
yeah.
that. Yeah.
The second one was flood relief in North Dakota.
Oh yeah. Wow, that was crazy.
We did that show together, remember?
Yep.
We did like I came in as a civilian and we performed, and then we went and we helped people fish stuff out of the basement. We were waist deep
drywall,
flood water. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah,
that's another proof that Mother Nature wants it. She's gonna get it.
Oh my goodness, it was crazy.
Yeah.
You see that was another example of seeing things on the news and then landing and going, oh, the news doesn't even touch it.
Yeah.
It was anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, you're like, how can water come this far away from the river?
Yes.
Yeah, it was astonishing. And I think Sinbad, if I remember right, again, I could be wrong, this is what I remember. I think Sinbad was supposed to perform with that show, but couldn't make it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think that's what I remember hearing. All right. Well, dude, it's been great to talk to you. Love you so much. You're a talented young. Oh, hang on. And I'm going to ask this. And if you want me to, if you can say no, or you can say, Dave, edit this out later. But I was such a fan of the Tick. I want to just give me one good Tick story and one good Akila of the Bee story, if you can do it.
Oh, yeah, I've got a good Tick story.
Well, tell the folks that didn't watch the Tick about the show.
So the Tick was on Amazon Prime, and it was a very popular cartoon back in the day by a talented gentleman named Ben Edlund about a guy named Arthur and his friend the Tick, who would it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek piss take on superheroes. And it takes place in its own Gotham City with its own characters. And so we did a live action version with a gentleman named Barry Josephson, who was the executive producer and a big fan. He actually saw me perform in an acting class workshop in LA. Barry Josephson, for those of you who might not know, Men in Black, Bad Boys, like he was a Sony movie executive. Anyway, Barry was the executive producer. Great experience, and he produced a live action version on Amazon. Devin Rattray, I'm going to give you a little inside baseball here. So Devin Rattray was Tinfoil Kevin in The Tick.
Okay.
He was the big brother in Home Alone.
Oh, I never put that together.
Same actor, right?
Wow.
And so my character, named Goat, is a convenience store owner.
Mm-hmm.
And I interact with the characters you'll see in the show. And you'll see that there's candy, right? It's like a 7-Eleven, right? There's just candy everywhere. And the props people work so hard. God bless these people who work on movies. They're just so amazing behind the scenes. Well, we yell cut, we got to move the cameras, right? So that we can get the same shot again. Devin starts eating the candy bars on the props. And the props people would get so pissed with him. And he's just like going at it, man. I was like, Devin, what are you doing? Sweet guy. Like nothing bad. He's going to kill me for telling you this, but he just thought it was so funny. Because they'd have to keep refilling the props, and they don't want to have to do that because they don't.
Yeah.
So that's probably there's several, but that's one I'll leave you with. And then Akila and the Bee. Oh man, it was the first table read, and the table read is when you've been cast, you show up. Was it Lionsgate in LA? I can't remember what studio it was. And the table read is the cast sits around with the script, and you read through the movie. You just kind of read your part. Gives everybody a chance to wear the character a little bit, Now, I'm in a room with Lawrence Fishburne. Angela Bassett was sitting to this side of me. Julito McCullum, all these wonderful people. And Lawrence Fishburne is at the head of the table. Lionsgate execs are lining the walls, movie execs. We come in, And this is our first time meeting each other in person after the casting process. And Lawrence Fishburne, he has the presence. He's like a Bernie. You know when he's in the room. He has that, right?
Yeah.
And so he comes in, just the guy's just so kind and gentle, and he shakes all of our hands. And he says, he sits down and he says, I don't actually know my lines yet. Wait, what? It's like, wait, hold on, brother. Wait. He's like, I'm still sort of absorbing them. So I want everyone to feel like this is a safe space so that we can, get this script in our bones a little bit and find our character a little bit. I need all the execs to leave the room.
Oh, wow. Wow.
These are the people that were paying for the movie.
Right.
Out they go. And then the memory I'll get to is that once they left, we went around the room. He said, I want you to go around the room and say, tell us your name and what you're up to. And then he came to me. Hello, sir. Do I stand up? Mr. Do I call you Fish? Mr. Bone? Mr. Burn?
My God.
My name is Kahlil Ashanti, sir. I'm an actor and I'm writing this show called Basic Training. And I'm just doing that. Yeah, I said I'm because I was in an acting class with Jeffrey Tambor at the time, and I was like,
wow,
I'm trying to make my own opportunities. And then he stands up and he goes, everybody give this brother a round of applause.
Oh, no way.
Keke Palmer, Angela Bassett, all of them. He's like, this brother's making it happen for himself. We need to give him a round of applause.
Wow. I got goosebumps. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But let me ask you this real quick. Did you have a great time doing that show, doing that movie?
I did. I really did.
How long was the shoot for that? Or at least for you?
I think I was a 2 or 3 day thing. Yeah. Yeah, it was a great time. The director had seen me doing a workshop of basic training.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had already written Akilah and the Bee and won the award and had spent 2 years trying to get it made and was like, I need you to audition. Kahlil, I've got a role that's great for you. It was one of those stories you hear about where it's there are people who follow through. Hollywood isn't, it's, a lot of it's BS, but there are good people who do follow through. And Doug Atchison.
That's like a dream sequence.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was beautiful, man. I get a lot of respect for that guy. A lot of respect for him.
Well, and it makes me think too, when we were talking about, the waiting for a job in the acting world, that's got to be so, I mean, especially if things are clicking along, the lulls that happen when you're not called. How does one, I mean, obviously you did the right thing. You had to have a backup plan, because you got to feed people and you got bills to pay. But what does that do to the mindset of somebody that really, really, really wants to be an actor like you that does this type of thing, whether it's commercials or movies or sitcoms or whatever? What's that do to the mindset?
Well, it does very little if you keep grinding and you're performing wherever you can.
So
do a play.
Stay busy. Stay busy.
The worst thing you can do is give someone else agency over your career and think that the key to you working is someone else. Yeah. There is a lot of that, which, obviously there's casting. There are gatekeepers, but nothing's stopping you from writing a show and staging it downtown somewhere. That's what I learned with basic training. I wrote a class, an acting class, and I took it to the Fringe Festival. I performed it wherever I could. And that got me an agent quicker than any audition I'd ever done because they saw people want to take a chance on people who take chances.
Yeah. Oh, good advice right there. Yeah, that's solid. Wow. Well, Kahlil, I mean, I know it's silly to hear a 62-year-old man say I'm exceptionally proud of you, but dude, I'm exceptionally proud of you.
I appreciate it, Dave.
I'm 62. I'm actually 63. I don't know what I was thinking.
Wow.
I was born in 62. So yeah. All right, dude. I'm gonna let you go. I know you're a busy man. Thank you so much for coming on the Priory, Kahlil. I appreciate it. I follow you. I'm just beyond happy for you and everything you've been doing. And if you ever come to Western Pennsylvania, please let me know so we can get together.
I will, man. It would be so good to see you and give you a hug, brother. Yeah. I miss you so much. And
I don't know if you know, but the very first person I had in the Priory on this podcast was Roy Mills.
Oh, I miss Roy.
I said to myself, who do I want? Who do I want my first guest to be? Do I just go straight to my tour, or do I get, do I find somebody from the '58 tour or whatever? And that day I thought about that. I hadn't talked to Roy in literally years. I no hyperbole. An hour after I thought about who am I going to have, he sends me a message through YouTube because he saw
What?
one of my fishing videos I put on YouTube a decade ago and sent me a message on YouTube. Hey, dude, great fish, Roy Mills.
Oh my goodness.
What? Yeah, on YouTube. So I sent a message back, got our digits, and I got him on the show. So I understand. Yeah, Roy's a funny guy. Roy's hysterical to beer. If you got Kahlil, Marty, Roy Mills in the same room,
Oh,
there's gonna be a lot of problems.
trouble.
Could be a lot, but we should probably try to do that someday again because that would be a lot of
Yes,
fun. That would be a
I
great
would love.
reunion.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Kahlil, we got him. TIB 1994, 1995. You can see him on Amazon Prime. His one-man show. He's doing stuff, folks, that just are amazing. Such a talent. And thank you for coming on the Priory, Kahlil. Love you, brother, and thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on, man.